Amrock. Hello, Roboticon. We are here at Amrock.
Yep.
It is almost Roboticon. It has kind of started tonight.
Yeah, we've got a lot of volunteers. A couple teams are bringing stuff in. We're getting all of our signage up.
You will see a lot of activity through this window here.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of people coming through.
The reason why we're sitting in strike is we don't want to be in the way of the robots.
Exactly.
So before we get started, we've got a welcome message from a very special person that we'd like to share.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dean Cayman. The first thing I'd like to do is thank all the folks behind Roboticon for making First Robotics, your opening event. The second thing I'd like to do is thank all the people that are already involved with First, the kids, the teachers, the mentors, the sponsors, for doing what you do. It's an important thing to give these kids this great opportunity to look at career options. And the third thing I'd like to do is remind all of you that there are two kinds of people in the world: the people that love First and the people that have never heard of it. But you're now in a public space, you're in a mall, and if you do it right, it's contagious. So please, students, parents, mentors, teachers, sponsors, show the rest of the world why they've got to get involved. We need more people involved, giving more kids a great opportunity to be involved with First Robotics. Thanks, everybody, and have a great event.
And thank you, Dean, for that welcome message. We always appreciate when Dean Cayman is available.
It's awesome. And, it's what he said is completely true about it being here at the mall. I've gone before to when it's been like in a specialized place. I love that it's here in the mall.
Me
because
too.
you can really see how so many industries are built around innovation, and it gets everyone involved. So much about technology is consumer based, but here it's creation based.
Yeah.
And I love that.
And especially here in this particular mall, it wouldn't necessarily work in any mall, right? At the same level. This particular one, the fact that we've got, LT3 Labs, and we've got the fitness studio whose name
absolutely,
Endorphins. We've got so much other creator stuff, well-built bikes. There's so much other creator stuff that there's already like a synergy with us into the community.
For sure.
And so bringing Roboticon here totally makes sense.
There's this new thing in education, we call it Convergence Education, where we're talking about how community-driven nonprofits and schools and educational leadership opportunities and researchers like at USF and small businesses like Strike and LT3 Labs and, Endorphins. And then actually the students themselves and mentors actually have the opportunity to come and all work together and learn from one another. That's what Convergence Education is. And so us doing this here at University Mall is like an explosion of that.
It's a big version of that concept.
Yeah, and people get to see it, and how when everybody works together as a team, instead of saying, this part's mine or this part is yours, and I don't really want to do this, if we are all working together and everybody's pulling apart and making technology innovation for our community better, that really we can go so far. And I'm excited. Speaking of going so far, don't you have something you have to do today?
I do, but I want to tell a story first.
Okay.
So one of my favorite first stories actually involves one of our team members, Audie, who's here, but over at the field setting up. We did in this mall interestingly, after a hurricane.
Appropriate.
We did a robot in a weekend build in what is now the Innovation Partnership Office down the hall. And so what we did was First Tech Challenge announced their game, and then we, as a team, built a First Tech Challenge robot in about 2.5 days to compete in that game.
That is amazing.
And the idea is to show, and there's other teams all over the place that were doing it, and the idea is to show the teams the different ideas at the very beginning of the season.
For sure.
We didn't know anything about the season any earlier than they did. We just happened to all set our schedules, so we had 2.5 days to do it. But because we did it here, Audie decided she wasn't going to be part of the build. Instead, she was going to do an outreach event.
Amazing.
And so she spent the entire 3 days pulling people from the mall. Hey, you want to see something cool? We're building a robot. You want to see? And bringing them inside. We had the full FTC field set up, all of the game elements, a machine shop that we had built because it was just before AMROC opened.
Amazing.
It's the reason why AMROC's here, in fact, was that weekend.
Absolutely.
And so the number of people, and I mean, Terry and I talk about it all the time, the number of people who were affected that weekend, we got people out of that came to Roboticon the next weekend, because Roboticon was literally the next weekend down at Yingling. And so we brought people to Roboticon to see what it was because of it. And now we get to take that concept of pulling people out of the mall and saying, look at this cool thing, and taking them right to the full cool thing.
Exactly. I think it's so great because we start off this first week with the great big robots. I always have to remind myself, FRC is the robust robots because they're the great big ones.
Yes, they are.
And so everybody sees those and they want to go right there. But the reality is you don't start there. You start building skills as we go, and it's a stair-step approach. Yeah. They're going to get to see all of those over this month. Right. So it is going to be really awesome. And if you're around, every single weekend, there is something going on here at University Mall. There's so much going on every single weekend. So make sure you get here and see things that are going on. And if you want to see the schedule, go to roboticon.net, look at the schedule. It'll tell you who's doing what on what weekend. Yeah. But I know you have
it's a big deal because
it's huge.
Because we've for a long time been our internet just went away. We've for a long time been a first heavy event, and this year we're spreading the love. We've got VEX, several VEX programs, in fact. We've got drone racing, we've got the combat robotics that you can't see because it's just out of frame. We've got all kinds of stuff that we've never had before, and I'm so excited to see it.
Exactly. Even a brand new the Robotics Olympiad. We have a group coming in from that to teach about Sumo Robots. It's going to be amazing.
I love the Sumo Robots. I actually did a prototype. The Tampa area, the Microsoft developers group got together and did the Sumo Bots, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, like the very beginning of the concept.
I think what you're going to enjoy, if you're coming in for Sumo Bots, that starts not this weekend, but next weekend is the first weekend Sumo Bots is here. But with Sumo Bots, you can come and actually take participation and actually take a Sumo Bot and battle your family and friends. So it's going to be super fun.
I'm in.
But Scott, I'll battle you on the field in a couple weeks, but go get our court set up because we super need you. And throw me in another person. That would be great. Thanks. So to put this on takes on so many people. So the next person is here now. Hey, Gab.
Hello there.
Super appreciate you hopping in with us. I know you've been running around today. Talk a little bit about what it means to have volunteers involved in Roboticon and why it's so important that we get good volunteers to come in and help out.
Gotcha. Volunteers are absolutely one of the most important parts. I am a staff member, and there's only so much that I can do. I have been running around all day today like a chicken with its head cut off. And what volunteers do is they spread the love. We have people here watching booths, watching tables, helping everybody get checked in, helping people find where the restroom is, where the field is, just making sure everything runs smoothly. And the best thing you can do as an alumni as well is come and volunteer, because that's the best way to get back into it.
Absolutely. And you might not know this, but if you are a family in the local area, anywhere around Florida, and your kid needs volunteer hours towards Bright Futures, we are a Bright Futures Profferfish organization, so you can volunteer here. We'd love to have you involved in future weeks or next year. It's a really great way to get things done. And volunteering, do you have to be good at robots or know anything about robots to volunteer?
Absolutely not. One of my favorite things is when we get new volunteers in, teaching them what the teams do, how the teams work, and how to use the space. Obviously, we're not saying, hey, volunteer, you've never used a saw before. Hope you don't lose a finger. We teach everybody how to use materials. We teach everybody how to use the tools. And if you don't feel comfortable using the tools, there is 100 million things we could have you do instead. So it's a lot more of an easy, open space where you can try anything you want to, and we're not going to force you to do something.
Exactly. And I think it's really great when people come in here. People are like, how can I jump in and how can I get involved? We've got big crews, we've got big shoes to fill. Some of our volunteers will be graduating from college and moving on, and we're going to need to replace them with some people. So if you are interested in learning more, getting involved, we definitely need our volunteers. So thank you very much. I'm going to kick you out because I know you got to run lots of volunteers, and we're going to bring in someone actually from one of our competitive teams at the university level. Hop on in.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, you have had a very busy day today.
I have. But this is fun.
So tell us who you are and
Yes.
what you do here at MROC.
Okay, so my name is Suchita Yaramili, and I'm from the Biomedical Engineering Society at the University of South Florida. I'm their competitive research and development chair, so I essentially just lead our robotics team. And so we are so thankful to AMROC for, letting us like work in their lab and for sponsoring us. So, that's kind of like how I got involved with AMROC. But then I started learning much more about how I can also help mentor the kids doing VEX IQ and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so that's how I'm getting kind of more involved in MROC, and the whole team is doing it, and it's so fun. So, it's a pretty good experience.
It's really exciting. One of the things that people are always talking about
Mhm.
and it's all in the news, is about how there's been a lot of teacher turnover, and that especially in STEM programs,
Yeah.
that a lot of teachers are new and they're nervous about, how do I bring robotics to my classroom?
Yeah.
I don't know how. And you actually were talking to me just the other week that
Yeah.
you're really interested in doing an outreach event. Can you tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about what you were talking about with that?
Yeah, so this outreach event is essentially to just kind of get a lot more people involved in robotics and kind of get started in learning about robotics. So I know you mentioned that teachers are kind of like afraid to start into it because it seems like a daunting task. But what I love about robotics is that it's a very much like learn as you go type of thing. So one thing that I've experienced with my team is this is also my first time leading a team, so it was kind of scary at first, right? But we're all learning as we go, and I think experience to like other teachers as well, and like even like they'll learn as they go. And so this program is essentially just that, like we're just gonna like work with other teachers and kind of show them what we're doing and kind of like maybe give a little bit our advice, but otherwise it's a very creative process. So
Yeah, I really love that. I think it's amazing because when I was a robotics teacher, I remember when I very first started, I was like, I don't know, kids, let's figure it out.
yeah.
But it's a little bit different. People have tests and standards they're supposed to teach to
Yeah.
now, and so that can be nerve-wracking for teachers. So to
Yeah.
have someone that is younger and like involved in it, and for kids to see that robotics doesn't have to end in middle school or high school, that it
Exactly,
can
yeah.
actually go on into the collegiate level is awesome. Can you tell me like what you're studying in school?
Yeah, so right now I'm an undergrad sophomore, and I'm studying biomedical engineering. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Exactly, because I mean, there's so many things in engineering that people don't
Exactly,
realize. It still has robotics, and the stuff that you're learning in robotics, even if you're getting a giant robot to what is your challenge this year? What do y'all have to do with your robot?
Oh, we have to shoot discs.
Yeah, so even though you're getting your robot to play disc golf,
Yeah.
this is basically the challenge.
Yeah.
There's actually real skills that are coming to that into supply chain as well.
Exactly. Actually, just recently, in I think one of our last meetings, someone was explaining about physics concepts that we're using on the robot that we learned literally like last week in class, in the biomedical engineering curriculum. So it's really interconnected. So I feel like if anyone is interested in engineering or anything remotely even related to it, doing robotics is a great way to get started. So.
Well, I know that your team is actually working in the back in the wood shop to be ready for competition.
Right now,
So I'm going to let you get back to it.
Yes.
Because I know you're like, no, we're AMROC's team. We want to perform well.
Yeah.
Even though you're also putting on the event. So we wish you all the luck
Thank
in
you
the
so
competition.
much.
And if you are a high school teacher, a middle school teacher, even like a community leader that's doing robotics and needs some help, contact us, because Shishita's looking for some people that they can actually support. All right. Talk to you soon,
so
Shishita.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So this is one of our mentors that's a college student. They have made the decisions in high school and middle school. Oh, get him back. Alex, I see you. Come back. So, she's a, hold on just a second. She is a college student that, she did this in high school and moved into college and wanted to keep doing it. But what about students that like are a little bit younger and still want to be involved? All right, Alex, come on up. Talk to us about what you do with Roboticon and here at AMROC. So introduce yourself.
I'm Alex. So basically, what I do around here is I joined just about 2 weeks ago, and I'm the programmer for the Edgar Allan Holmes robot. And right now we're building a robot that is playing basketball. So I joined, and I'm just kind of messing around with the code. They really needed to update it.
Yeah. So how old are you, Alex?
I'm only 17.
Okay, so you're still in high school. So what made you want to get involved with a robotics team here at Amrock versus, does your school have robotics?
No.
So that's happening with a lot of our local areas. A lot of schools programs have limitations. Maybe there's not enough space, or a lot of programs are shut down, which is why Amrock has so many great spaces. What are you most excited about doing with your robotics team?
Just basically it's hanging out with them that I'm most excited about. But on top of that, it's figuring out why things don't work. Because if there's one thing I hate, I can't say hate, but I don't like it when things are perfect. Because if it's perfect, then that means that we peaked. And there's no time that we will ever peak.
Exactly. It's almost like, you only peak if you're not willing to keep trying. And I think that's something that's really awesome about here is that we're trying to find the failure points. What is the point that this will fail so that we can solve that failure point and do better and do more and do even in more exciting things. And I know that your team is probably my favorite robot because it's like literally 4 feet tall. It's gigantic. And your event is when?
Our event's tomorrow.
Their event is tomorrow. They are actually right underneath the food court. You can actually go up, grab something to eat at one of the restaurants and look down and watch the competitions get started. This is a scrimmage from last year's game, just to kind of get your robots up and running, get your teams back together, make sure you're working well together as a group, and then, get ready for kickoff. When does the new season for FRC begin?
As far as I'm aware, I remember we get our prompt in December, then we start in January.
Okay, so it's in the fall. It's a little bit later, fall, winter, and they'll get started on their competitive. Have you ever done a full competitive team robotics before?
I have, but not here in America.
So are you recently moved here?
Moved here about 3 years ago.
Oh, awesome. So, well, Alex, I know your team is really under the gun to get finished. So I will let you go. And hopefully, if you can find Terry so she can do a quick say hi to everybody, that would be great.
I know exactly where she is.
You know exactly where she is? Then you must be magical.
No,
because I don't think anybody knows exactly where anybody is.
She has a pattern.
So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Brandy Jackson. I'm the new program manager here. I'm also the CEO of a learning platform called Scoutlier. One of the things that we're going to be doing over the next 6 months is really doing all the amazing things that happen at Amrock and putting them in a way that you at home can bring them to your home, to your school, to your community, and amplify the things that are going on here. We are really excited about Amrock and Roboticon this year. And look, someone found her. I think she was trying to hide.
Hello.
Hey, Miss Terry. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing? I made it.
You
Alex
did.
was like, they commandeered me over there. So, yeah,
I know. You tried to run away.
He's just like brand new on the team. It's like, hey, you're going to do your first interview. I was like, what?
Well, Terry, I know it has been kind of a crazy couple weeks. Talk to me a little bit about what it's like doing Roboticon the week after a hurricane evacuation in a mall.
That was exciting. So we were very, very fortunate here in Tampa that the hurricane changed direction. Other people south of us were not as fortunate. And we're very cognizant of that. And so we had done a check on all our teams right after the event. Fortunately, everyone we've heard back from, which is the majority of participants so far, have been okay. And we're actually taking up a collection here because some of the teams going back south are going to take items back with them.
I really wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
If you are coming to Roboticon anytime over the next 3 weeks, we're going to have teams here that are up from that region that will take donations back to the southern region.
Yep, we're going to have 2 bins set up out front of Amrock.
Okay.
We're going to put those out there tonight, and then you can drop off non-perishable items. They're taking non-perishables, toiletries, things like that. And we'll just have the bins out here. And so all of that will go to teams. They'll take them back down south with them. But we welcome those from the general public as well as the teams themselves.
So has it created any logistic issues for you this trip?
Just doing this in a mall is we've done this partially. Last year we did, so Roboticon's been run continuously for 10 years now. And even during COVID, we did a hybrid event in 2020. We did a remote event, completely remote event in 2020. And we did a hybrid event in 2021. And we learned a lot during the hybrid event because we did do a sort of a partial competition out in the hall, and we did the entire FRC program, which was not an actual competition. We played soccer and all these other things inside the old Amrock because we had the whole field in there. In this new space, we have a partial field, but we wanted to field out in the public. And RD Management and Soaring City, which are the strategic partners that run the redevelopment of this area, have been absolutely phenomenal in making that happen.
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
they've agreed to have the field out in public permanently. And having something like that robotics field out where the general public can see it, and I heard you mentioning that earlier, and not like walled off behind a gym, high school gym or something. It's fun to do it in gyms. That's where the competition. That stuff is really important. But to bring more people into these events, right, you have to break down those barriers and bring the event to people.
Absolutely.
And a mall is a perfect place to do that. And the fact that this mall is so open-minded about it, RD Management particularly, and all the different organizations and retailers and, other businesses in the mall being so supportive of it, right? So, Tampa Bay Community Network is doing classes on video production. LT3 Academy has opened their doors. We're running our live stream studio all weekend from their shop, from their facility, which is a co-working space. And they're also going to be doing classes and workshops. And we've got, all the retailers who are giving discounts. Look Theater has opened themselves up, and we're doing our sponsor partner luncheon up at Look Theater. So having this unique environment to do this,
absolutely,
where everybody's used to celebrate sports, right? You see people walking around in their jerseys,
here's my team,
right? And now we're like, here's a different kind of team, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at a different kind of sport and bring it to people in a format that they can see it and get behind. Everybody's been watching BattleBots. People are used to that. There's all different kinds of competitive robotics. There's all different kinds of competitive STEM programs. And having them presented to people in a public forum, like this, a public format, you're just walking through the mall and you can see robotics, right? And children ask questions and adults ask questions and they're drawn into it, So I think that's incredibly important.
There's something that I think is probably my favorite thing about this place, especially since I've started working here. It's just, there's so many different types of robotics competitions. You've got drones, you've got sumo bots, you've got small, medium, large robotics. And I think, we really try to just be an open space that anybody can come in and use this. And and why did you build this place for that reason? Why have you done that?
Because it's, how do people find these things, right? We talk about democratizing access to STEM. We talk about workforce development, and then we put these things and these opportunities in places that are hard for people to get to.
Yeah.
And having a space that's like, well, you can look in the window, you can come in here, right, and see these things, and it's a safe, welcoming, supportive space to explore all the things that make the 21st century possible, for better or worse, right? Yeah. And to give people agency over that, to empower people. So I think having a space like this in a public mall in an urban setting is where all these spaces should be. Right?
100%.
I mean, people with access have access.
Yeah.
They always will. They always have. But with the way the challenges the schools face, right, and all these other organizations, that better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Having this third place, and a third place is a known quantity. It's a term, right? A third place is the place that's not school and it's not work and it's not home. It's this other place where you can go to learn and be in community with other people. Having a capacity building space like that, where you can get a cup of coffee and then do some programming and build a robot and fly a drone. That just flips the script.
It does,
right?
Absolutely.
We've been photo bombed.
I know. Sergio, come around. Oh my gosh, Sergio's seriously one of my favorite people.
Yeah, and he doesn't know we're doing a live stream, so this.
I know it's gonna be hilarious.
Hi, welcome to our live stream.
Welcome to our live stream.
I had
no, come around.
No. So this is Sergio, everybody. Yeah. And Tampa, he's with Tampa Bay Community Network. Yep.
You're going to have to get short.
Yeah, we have to get short here. Here we go. There he is. And so you're going to be doing some classes and Tampa Bay Community Network.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And-
like 5 classes.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of classes that they're doing over the course of the month.
Multimedia, multicam. Should I tell them what Tampa Bay Community?
Yes,
Network
please do, because it's awesome and people need to know about you.
So we're a nonprofit organization, and our hopes is to train the community how to better market themselves, market small businesses. We operate using the First Amendment. We are the only community broadcast station in the Hillsborough area. And because of that, we have access to 5 channels that we broadcast. I don't remember the exact cable channels, but it's Frontier, Comcast, I believe Time Warner. And we have 5 channels that we broadcast 24/7 that we manage. And then we have like Roku, Apple TV, Fire Stick, and then Android OS. So we have those channels that we broadcast on. And then we have basically a school. And we teach 20 media, we teach camera basics, we teach audio engineering, we teach light and sound design, and we want to give somebody the tools to create their own production and put it out on TV. Our thought process is in the new gig economy, people are now becoming more producers as opposed to consumers, so we want to give them the opportunity to market themselves, because if you have a good product or a good service, if you do not have video online, then you're not going to be able to get your product to the consumer. So, and I believe it's 80% of the market is brought to a person by digital advertisement via video. So, the Instagram, YouTube. And that's pretty much it.
And that includes teams that are trying to get sponsors
Yes.
and recruit mentors
Yes.
and recruit volunteers and all those
Yes.
things. So you have to be able to tell your story. Tampa Bay Community Network helps you tell your story.
And
we're free.
And they're free.
If you're a Hillsborough County resident, it's 100% free. All 20 courses. We train you up. We give you a chance to make a 30-minute TV show at our site under the tutelage of a teacher, maybe someone like myself. And then we'll put it on all 5 of our channels too. So it's a pretty good program.
Yep. And we've got them on our partner page. You can go in there and find all that information. We'll be doing some articles about them and about Scoutwire and about all the great programs we're working with. So thank you. We just
really super appreciate it. And we just have to do a huge shout out to Sergio, because I think he walked in here like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Like maybe how long ago?
Maybe that. Yeah.
Maybe 2 months ago. He's like, hey, I'm working down the hall. And he just like hopped in. And not only has he been like so awesome volunteering with us, but I think he's learning a lot and he's teaching us a lot. And we've just created this ecosystem of innovation together. And we're just so grateful to all the work you've done to help us pull this off, especially all the heavy lifting. You're a rock star.
Yeah,
I can't really see who's on the other end or whatever, but yes, you guys are awesome too.
All right. It's Mutual Admiration Society.
It is.
It's a great mall. And this is another great example about, why all these things are so important here.
Yeah. So, so if you are around over the weekends, the next couple weekends, you should totally come in, not just for Roboticon, but actually to like walk through this mall and see the amazing spaces that exist and are working together to make our area a more innovative space, supporting our local community, because it's really important to all of us to do that. And I'm pretty sure we all got to get back to work.
I think we do.
Let's go.
Thank you so much
Thanks, Sergio,
for being snagged into the conversation.
Talk to you all. Hopefully see you tomorrow.
We will. We'll be live, I believe, starting probably around 11 a.m. And tomorrow and Sunday is our first robotics competition all weekend long. And we'll have a bunch of team interviews. We'll have a bunch of cool stuff going on. And we're super excited to be holding the event again this year. Excited about our 10th anniversary. Excited to have Brandy here with us. And keep watching. There's plenty to see this weekend.
Even more great things are coming.
Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.